Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Bear Trout Backcountry. This is Bear here. We're checking in today from beautiful Pico, New York. I am in the woods, I don't know, maybe 2-3 miles from a canoe launch. We'll get some footage of my paddle journey to get here in a little bit. But I am on the, I don't know if you would call it East Canada Creek or the East Branch of West Canada Creek. But there's a small put-in on Pico Powley Road. You drive about 8 miles down a dirt road right into, I believe it's the Lake Ferris wilderness of the Adirondacks. And there's a small put-in. I met a real friendly local who gave me some ins and outs of how to navigate some of the beaver dams, which I actually did go up and over 2 beaver dams to get here. And there's another bigger one right around the bend. This is why I chose here to stop for my little lunch break. But I was full of piss and wind to try to get here, so I didn't do much filming on the way in. But now that I know how to navigate the path here a little bit better, we'll get a little bit more footage of the paddle journey on the way back. But yeah, we're just here in the middle of the wilderness. Bugs aren't too bad. It's about high 60s, low 70s today. And yeah, I'm just here doing a little lunch stop, chopping up some standing deads, and we'll get a little cooking fire going. I got some burgers, and we'll pan fry some burgers and just enjoy this beautiful Sunday in mid-July. All right, folks. As you see, I used a little bit of harvested resiny fat wood from a white pine and fair seam rod struck on the back of my knife, and I got my little cooking fire going. I'll probably add a little bit more to that. I found plenty of stuff to keep it rolling, but I'll let that burn down for a little bit, get a coal bed going, and in the meantime I'll show you what the creek looks like. Walking down in towards the creek side. See my vessel, and it's barely wide enough for me to turn my canoe around, so I had to be pretty diligent about getting back here. And you can't quite see it. You can kind of see the bottom rapids, but there is another beaver dam right around the bend there that I just decided I didn't want to hike up and over. There's two other ones down this way that the camera's facing that I had to hike this 16-foot boat up and over. But I just got bit by something. But yeah, it's a beautiful day, and I haven't seen a soul. Just the one guy out on the access road who was fishing off the bridge. And my little day camp is just in there a ways, but it's a beautiful, beautiful day, beautiful setup. I'm loving it. I also want to take a minute while I'm back here at camp to just explain why I didn't clear a bigger spot for the fire. And that was a conscious decision, and I want to explain a couple of those reasons. Number one, I'm a huge advocate of leave no trace. Try to minimize my footprint at camp. Wherever I stop, wherever I am, even if I just go in the woods to take a leak, I'm very mindful of how far away from the water I do it. Making sure all my cat holes are dug, disposing of all waste properly, or bagging it out as they recommend you do in the Adirondacks up here. But as for the fire here, I try to keep a minimal footprint, and I'm okay with not clearing as big of a fire pit area because it has poured and poured and rained here for weeks and weeks all summer. It's one of the wettest summers upstate New York has had in a few years, and all of this ground surrounding the area, I can literally, I'm just walking around and it's just squishy with water. Everything is damp. So I'm really not worried about embers flying off and the risk of, obviously there's no fire ban or anything, but the risk of an ember actually catching a dry piece of tinder somewhere is extremely low right now. And that's why I was okay with choosing to make a small cooking fire like this rather than bring my stove out here because of how safe the conditions are currently. So, for all of you woodsland purists that are questioning why I did such a small footprint, it is safe conditions and it was a conscious decision. All right, we're getting ready to do food prep. I just want to take a second to reaffirm, as well as like I said, I'm a firm believer in leave no trace. Another thing that I'm a really firm believer in is you don't need a lot of gear and a lot of expensive or fancy gear to really enjoy yourself in the wilderness. Case in point, this is my $5 Boy Scouts mess kit. Just simple aluminum. This obviously isn't going to be a lifetime piece of gear, but for a little day camp scenario like we're in now, where I just want a little fry pan to fry up my bergs, it's perfect. Super lightweight, incredibly compact. You can cram packets of food, dry powder materials for making pancakes and bannocks and dried beans. I've crammed packets of food in things exactly the same size. I actually have a few of these little Boy Scout kits because they're so cheap and efficient. But yeah, I also have really nice high-end stainless and titanium cook gear that I spent 5 times the amount on that really will do the same thing. It'll last definitely longer. You pay for what you get, but if you just want to get out in the woods, maybe you only need to buy something that lasts a couple of years. Here it is. You can buy a couple in a year and you're still ahead of the game. So just driving home, another thing that I hold dear is go with what you can afford and rely on your skills and practice your skills and get good with the gear that you have, and you'll have a good time, a safe time, and you can't really go wrong. Oh yeah. Boca burger with some Memphis barbecue. That's good camping food right there. I'll tell you what, folks. Some of my most memorable times of my life and things I always things I remember the most are usually have something to do with a campfire or a bonfire of some kind. Whether it was my old man taking me on my first camping trips down Haskell Road on West Canada Creek, you know, when I was 5, 6, you know, just about 10, 15 miles to the east of us here. I mean, right up until having a fire in the last week or two out here canoeing. There's just something about any time of day, any time of year, just sitting around a campfire that just sparks the imagination, kind of. And as soon as I get this fire going, I just think about, you know, all the other things I've done and times I've shared with people around a fire, and it's a lot of good memories. One of the simplest good feelings that I can have, and not too far by eating camp food. I know when Trout and I come out here, we always pretty much say, well, we just came out in the woods just so we could cook and eat. And sometimes that's all it amounts to. Sometimes that's all it takes. Something about life is different out in the woods. You know, the things that you have to worry about are securing your firewood, sterilizing your water, you know, food prep and food cooking is, you know, a big ordeal in the woods when you have many less conveniences. And it's nice to just have to worry about those basic necessities. It's much simpler. It's much more gratifying. You appreciate water more. You appreciate your food more. You appreciate everything more because you got to work for every step. It's just different. Back at home when you have to worry about, you know, getting your car inspected and making sure this bill's paid on time and this and that. It's just a real cool change of pace. That's why I do it, and I'm sure that's why many other people do it. Just keeping it simple. Keeping it simple around a fire. Small fire or big fire. Break up the ashes. Scatter them best you can. Because ashes or roots will burn underground. So always make an effort to make sure your fire is, with beyond a reasonable doubt, put out. Yeah, it was just nothing but quicksand mud underneath a foot of water trying to get in this boat just now. But we got her. This boat is definitely a little too big for the type of paddling I'm doing. Case in point, right up here, I figured I'd get it on camera. I literally have to try to paddle over this dead log. And it is not easy or fun. There we go. A lot easier going with the current this time. Nice, it's beautiful. It's narrow. This is definitely more of a 10 to 12 foot kayak stream. Okay, here we are back again, folks. Just around the bend there, I went went up and over that beaver dam, and that went pretty well. Found a kind of a little grassy knoll on top of it to beach it and pull the canoe over and down, and got in safely. But this is definitely more of a kayak, river, creek, brook, whatever you want to call it. Definitely a little challenging. Well, here we are, folks. I just picked a spot to turn around. Headed back to the canoe put in. I'm quite a ways from there. I just turned around, so it's wonderful. But as you can see, pretty much to the straight ahead is Alderbed Mountain, which if you ever come to this area of Pico Powley and East Canada Creek, Alderbed Mountain's a pretty good day hike, a little side trip that you could also get done while you're in the area. I am opting to not do it today, as I've definitely done about pushing 4 hours of paddling, and I'm feeling fairly accomplished for today's exploration. I never have been to this area of the Adirondacks, and I'm thoroughly impressed. I love this perfect, little patch of flat water cut right through the middle of the forest. It is perfection. It's grade A canoeing at its finest, its most pure. This is the exact type of water that canoeing, I feel, is designed for. And on top of that, I feel like the canoe is one of the best, most pure ways to really get close to nature, see a lot of wilderness with minimal effort, and do it with as little disruption also. In fact, the only disruption that's actually occurring right now is my loud ass voice as I flap my gums talking to you guys. So on that note, I can pretty much just let this beautiful view that's in front of us do the talking. On the way out here, I decided to take a gander of the other spots in the area, and this is towards the end of Powley Road, where East Canada Creek really picks up some pace. And I guess if you could see, there's a little like 5-6 foot waterfall way in the distance straight ahead. I guess up on top of that there's potholes that are really cool to sit in and cool off, and it's a nice swimming hole. So maybe next time. It's not that hot today, so I'm not feeling too inclined, but very cool nonetheless. Alright guys, this is the day after the trip. It was really good. That whole area, Lake Ferris Wilderness and East Canada Creek, Powley Road campsites, everything is really pristine, really good. Had a great experience, met some friendly locals, ate some delicious food, explored a couple of beaver dams, which is always exciting. And it was a really good time. I highly recommend it. If you got any other questions or comments about the area or how to access it, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Yeah, it was a really good time. Enjoyed myself, and we'll definitely be doing some more filming, and Trout and I will be going back to do some kind of trip. Who knows what we'll get into, but until next time, thanks for tuning in. Keep checking the hashtag Bear Trout Backcountry, and of course the hashtag Haskell Forge. Making all kinds of custom knives and custom bushcraft tools, and we got lots of different projects coming in and out of the shop. Any of you guys or girls want to link up with a project, let us know. DM us on Instagram, and we will take it from there. I appreciate all your views, our followers and subscribers. This is Bear signing off. I'll see you guys on the next one.